Do you often feel like you are inside a storm? Not the kind that shakes rooftops or rattles windows, but the kind that twists through the air unseen, pressing against your chest, tugging at your mind, and leaving your heart strangely heavy. It is a storm made of tension, anger, judgment, and fear, but it belongs to someone else, and somehow you've learned to catch it, to carry it, to make it yours. But what if it was never meant to be held by you? What if it belonged entirely to the other, and you could stand apart, luminous, anchored, untouched? Every day, these invisible storms drift around us. They emerge in sharp tones, impatient glances, hurried texts, or critical words spoken softly but weighed with meaning. They hover in spaces between conversations, linger in silences, ride the subtle currents of expectation. Most of us respond instinctively. We inhale the tension, chase the ripples it leaves behind, and unconsciously try to calm it. And yet, the first step toward freedom is the simplest: to notice that the storm is not yours. To see it as it is, separate from you, swirling in its own orbit. Imagine your mind as a still lake. A stone is thrown into the water, creating waves that stretch to the edges. Most people dive in, chasing the ripples, trying to calm the surface, but wisdom lies in observing. Watch the waves expand, let the stone sink, and allow the lake to remain intact, reflecting sky and light. Your center is that lake. Your calm is that reflection. No storm can alter it unless you invite it in. Practice noticing. When someone's frustration brushes against your chest, pause, breathe. Whisper to yourself, this is theirs. I am here. Let the energy exist without allowing it to move you. Let the tension swirl around, but do not absorb it. Each time you choose this, your inner calm strengthens. Each time you refuse to carry what is not yours, a spark of light returns that might otherwise have dimmed. There is subtle power in this refusal. Calm is contagious, though it asks for nothing. Your steadiness becomes a quiet signal to those around you. The storm may rage, yet you remain untouched. Each moment you hold your center without reacting, you show without words that peace is not conditional, that the storms of others can swirl endlessly, and still your presence does not fracture. Notice the patterns that have pulled you into storms before. The quickness to respond, the urge to soothe, to fix, to justify, to carry what was never yours. These reactions were born from habit, not necessity. And in letting them fall away, you discover an unfamiliar freedom to meet life not with exhaustion, but with clarity, presence, and a luminous steadiness that draws no harm from chaos. In this era, storms come at us from every direction. They are subtle, invisible, and relentless. A notification pinging at the wrong time, a curt email from work, a disagreement with a loved one, or the faint weight of someone else's judgment can make your mind spiral before you even realize it. Social media adds its own torrents, carefully curated snapshots of success, beauty, and happiness that create invisible pressure. Comparisons rise, envy simmers, and the storm gathers quietly around your heart. The chaos does not roar like a thunderstorm. It whispers, prods, scratches at the edges of your attention, and yet it is no less powerful. Imagine a morning when a single message unsettles you before your eyes are fully open. A friend's words carry unexpected disappointment. A colleague's tone is sharper than necessary. An old acquaintance's comment leaves a knot in your chest. Your mind races, replaying and anticipating. The storm is already swirling inside you. Most people would dive in, replaying the echoes endlessly, trying to fix, smooth, or control it. But what if instead you paused? What if you breathed, noticing the pull of the storm without merging with it? Whisper silently, this is theirs, I am here. Let the energy exist, but refuse to let it touch your core. Distraction is another storm. Emails, notifications, deadlines, news updates. They swirl like wind through an open window, pulling attention from your presence. We catch these storms instinctively, believing that responding immediately is necessary. And yet, each time you pause, breathe, and center yourself before responding, you reclaim control. The storm passes without draining your light. The moment you remain unshaken, your energy returns and clarity flows once again. Comparison forms another quiet storm. Scrolling through feeds, noticing accomplishments, beauty, or recognition that you may not yet have received. And feeling small in contrast, it's subtle, almost imperceptible, yet insidious. Most people allow these currents to move through them, carrying shame, self-doubt, or impatience. But what if you treated these storms as passing clouds? Pause, breathe. Remind yourself that your worth is not defined by another's highlight reel. Their storm is theirs, your calm is yours. Observe the wind, notice the cloud, and let it drift past without lodging in your chest. The storm of expectation is constant as well. Society, family, friends, and co-workers press against us with timelines, obligations, and unspoken rules. We believe we must meet every expectation, justify every choice, perform for everyone. These pressures can feel like relentless gusts, yet the principle remains. Breathe, anchor in your center. Let their expectations swirl around you without claiming them as truth. You do not need to bend, adjust, or absorb their energy. Your calm is yours alone. And then there's the storm of self-doubt and memory. Old wounds, regrets, past failures, they return uninvited, whispering that you are fragile, unworthy, or incapable. Most of us catch these storms automatically, letting them dictate moods and actions. But each time you pause and witness these thoughts without merging, you practice freedom. Your inner space, your sacred flame, remains untouched. You are reminded that the storms of the past and the storms of others do not define your being. They are passing weather. You are the sky. Practicing this consistently transforms ordinary days. Each moment of noticing, pausing, and refusing to catch the storm is an act of courage. It is a reclamation of light. You begin to move through your days with steadiness, even when chaos swirls all around. The power is subtle, yet profound. You are no longer a vessel for turbulence. You are a steady presence in a world constantly testing the limits of your calm. And as your center strengthens, you discover a quiet freedom, a way to navigate life without surrendering your peace, without merging with storms that do not belong to you. Perhaps the heaviest storms are not the ones carried by strangers or social media, but those that emerge closest to home. Partners, siblings, parents, friends, those we love and care for, sometimes bring winds that tug at the heart and mind in ways subtle yet profound. A glance laced with frustration, a comment veiled in judgment, a sigh weighted with expectation, these are the gusts that can feel magnetic, pulling us into conflict, guilt, or tension. Most people respond automatically, absorbing the turbulence as though it were theirs to carry. But true freedom lies in something different, standing calm while the storm moves around you. Pause, breathe, anchor yourself. Notice the storm for what it is, theirs, not yours. You are fully present, yet not entangled. You are a witness to the waves of emotion without letting them sway your center. You do not need to fix the person, smooth the rough edges, or carry the weight of their fear. Your task is not to calm the storm for them. Your task is to honor your own light. And in doing so, something remarkable occurs. The storm begins to lose its force, not because you have argued or persuaded, but because you no longer feed it with your own energy. Relationships carry another subtle tempest, the storm of expectation. We are conditioned to believe that love requires compromise, that peace requires obedience, that closeness requires absorption. We are taught that holding our ground is selfish. But this is a misconception. Standing steady, choosing not to catch the storm, is not abandonment. It is clarity. It is courage. It is an active presence that teaches without words. When you remain anchored in your center, your steadiness becomes a guidepost. It is a quiet invitation for others to face their own turbulence without dragging you into it. Consider a heated conversation with a loved one. Most of us instinctively react, defending, justifying, arguing, absorbing their words. The storm intensifies because energy is exchanged. But pause, breathe. Imagine yourself as a tall, unshakable tree. The wind rages against your branches, bending the leaves but never toppling the trunk. You listen without surrender. You respond without absorbing. You remain luminous in the midst of chaos. The storm continues to move, yet your calm radiates, influencing the space around you in ways subtle but profound. Even moments of quiet tension carry storms. A sibling's subtle criticism, a partner's unresolved fear, a parent's anxiety, they may arrive without confrontation, yet they ripple through your energy. Notice these moments, observe the pull, and then do nothing but breathe. Do not catch the storm. Let it exist in its own sphere. Remind yourself gently, this is theirs, I am here. Let the words and energy pass without lodging in your chest. Practicing this within relationships requires patience. Storms may repeat, patterns may persist, and the temptation to react will return. Yet each time you pause, breathe, and anchor, your center grows stronger. You begin to navigate intimacy without sacrificing your calm. You begin to show, silently but unmistakably, that love and presence do not require absorption. They require steadiness, clarity, and awareness. This approach transforms ordinary interactions. Tension no longer dictates your mood. Criticism no longer invades your peace. Expectations and projections lose their power. You begin to live in a quiet sovereignty where your energy is yours alone and your calm becomes a quiet light in the lives of those around you. In relationships, the storm may still rage, but you are not the storm catcher. You are the lighthouse, the steady flame, the presence that holds space for both chaos and calm. Without ever letting the turbulence dictate your own being, the storms of life will always return. This is certain. Some days the wind is barely a whisper. Other days it roars with such force that it feels impossible to remain grounded. And yet the practice is the same. Pause, breathe, anchor, observe. The storms of others, of expectation, of self-doubt can swirl endlessly, but they do not have the power to disturb the core of your being unless you allow it. Your center, your light, your calm is yours to claim. Visualize yourself as a flame. The storm rages, attempting to snuff it out. You may feel gusts of anxiety, rain of criticism, or icy winds of fear, but with each breath, the flame steadies. It flickers, yes, but it does not extinguish. It radiates. Each inhalation draws strength. Each exhalation releases tension. You are not the wind, the rain, or the stone thrown into your lake. You are the flame, luminous, steady, untouchable. Anchoring is an act of courage. It requires presence, patience, and awareness. It is not passive, it is a conscious choice to hold your space, honor your peace, and refuse to merge with what is not yours. Each time you choose this, you reclaim power. Each time you notice and do not absorb, you strengthen your center. And slowly, you begin to live differently. Ordinary days no longer feel like survival. They become an unfolding of light. The chaos of the world does not dictate your inner climate. The storms continue, but you remain a witness, a calm presence, a radiant steadying force. Your calm does more than protect you. It touches others without effort. It is a quiet signal, a subtle invitation for those around you to find their own center. Your presence becomes a beacon, a lighthouse in the night, offering clarity to anyone caught in their own turbulence. You do not push, persuade, or demand. You simply hold the light, and the world begins to shift in response, not immediately, perhaps, but inevitably. The ripple of steady presence spreads farther than any storm ever could. Remember, the storm is theirs. Your calm is yours. You are not responsible for absorbing their fear, managing their anger, or fixing their judgment. Let it pass, let it exist, let it swirl. And while it does, expand your presence, feel your chest rise with every conscious breath. Notice your mind widen as you anchor deeper. Let your being become a sanctuary, a space no storm can infiltrate. You may be tempted to forget this practice, to dive into the turbulence as you always have. That is natural. Old habits call loudly. Yet every time you pause, notice, and breathe, your inner strength grows. Each small act of remaining steady, each refusal to catch a storm, is a victory. And as these victories accumulate, life shifts. Relationships deepen, decisions become clearer, energy returns. Peace, once fleeting, becomes a companion, steadfast and luminous. So breathe, anchor, stand luminous in the eye of the storm. Let the world rage, let it swirl. And in your calm, you will discover freedom, clarity, and joy. Share this calm with yourself first and let it radiate outward naturally. Invite others to meet you in steadiness, not by forcing them, but by holding your own space so firmly that it cannot be ignored. Claim your center, live it, radiate it, and watch as life itself begins to learn a new rhythm, a rhythm of peace, clarity, and quiet power. The storm is theirs, your calm is yours. Do not catch it, remain luminous, remain awake, and let the world meet you there,